Welcome back to Eclipse on Tap, the podcast where we talk about eclipses of all kinds and space in general. Episode 53.
53.
Oh my goodness.
53. Crack that beer.
53, still ticking.
A very special beer. This whole podcast we're going to dedicate to Ecliptic Brewing. They have been just slinging beers our way. Very grateful for their support and letting us try. And Nathan, take it away on this one. It is the most special we've ever probably received.
Ecliptic Brewing 5000 Golden Barley Wine Ale aged in gin barrels.
Numma.
Not particularly long ago, in a brewery that isn't too far away, an intrepid brewing team lovingly crafted their 5,000th batch of Ecliptic beer. The beer is a big, brilliant golden barley wine ale that they carefully laid into cryo sleep in great oak vessels that once held Old Tom gin. I never had Old Tom.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
Nor have I.
You are now holding a part of that celebration batch as a toast from us. Here's to many more light years together. We couldn't have done it without you. Cheers, John Harris and the Ecliptic Brewing crew.
Oh, thank you,
Cheers.
sir.
That is a fantastic thing to share with you. What's this sitting at? What are we sitting at?
Care to take a guess?
11?
Over 10.
11.
Lucky 13.
Ooh, man.
Ooh, we're sampling.
Yeah,
We're sampling.
See you the second half, folks.
Yeah.
We'll see you on the other side.
See you on the other side, yeah.
But yeah, what a special beer. What's really cool about this one too, and again, I'm so grateful that they send us these in general, but then for us to get this one as well, we got like outside of his circles, right? Outside of the actual brewing company, we were the first, I think, to hear about this beer when we interviewed him on this here podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
They had just had their 5,000th batch.
That's got a really nice pour to it.
It does. They had just had their 5,000th batch, and he was telling us, he's like, yeah, I think I'm going to do like some sort of barley wine and like gin barrel age it. Remember he was saying that?
Yeah.
So it's cool to see it come to fruition. Wonderful can, 5,000 batches is a lot of batches.
Cheers.
And we'll cheers to that.
Boys. 53.
53.
Oh, that one slaps.
You can taste the alcohol in that one.
Yeah. It's
Make no mistake.
Yummy.
we're celebrating 5,000 batches.
That's actually warm going down.
It
the,
is. Yeah. You got that gin characteristic to it.
Yeah, it has that kind of gin. You know, you get that like aftertaste in gin, like that long burn.
Yeah.
It's got got that same
That
characteristic.
juniper flavor.
Yeah.
Almost like a Underberg, which would pair well with this beer, I would have to say.
Yeah. When we do our Berg break will be probably more necessary than ever before.
That's good though.
It's very good.
Very good.
It's and I remember him saying on the podcast that we interviewed him that gin barrel or barrel aging in general is sometimes tricky. You know, he was talking about the one where they left the beer in the gin barrel for way too long, and then it came out and it was like
Gin.
just gin.
Yeah. Moonshine.
Yeah, moonshine essentially. Some sort of conglomerate.
Your stout turned into a lager. The gin took over.
It became something that they didn't expect it.
Yeah.
But this was obviously done with great care. I can only assume with the 5,000th batch.
Oh yeah.
And I remember him saying he had fun. He actually, threw the boots back on and got involved with actually brewing this one, given the special occasion. So cheers to him. Cheers to the team. Cheers to Colette for sending us these beers. So we have 4 of them to try, and we'll get through those.
All of them tonight?
I
That's
think
a heavy
maybe.
task.
These are
starting
both
with
light.
a 13%er.
So the Moon Room is their new spot, and they're specifically making lagers at that spot, and so they're all like 4 or 5%. So these will be fun.
Okay.
2 Moon Rooms, 2 Ecliptics.
The Moon Room is looking
an
good
Underberg.
too.
Yes, and an Underberg to split the halves of this episode. But yeah, the Moon Room is looking awesome. Their new location, and the cans are amazing. I love like what was the word he used to describe the Moon Room? He was kind of talking how it's like a little bit more subdued and it's kind of like darker themed.
Yeah.
But he used a word. I can't remember.
Forget.
Dusky or something?
Yeah. Almost. Yeah. It's supposed to be kind of like a different sort of theme.
Yeah.
When you walk in there, you get a different feel. Like you're on the moon.
And they're going for the lagers.
I hear a bass playing in the background. little bit hazy as you walk
Yeah.
in.
Oh yeah. Like the noir. People snapping their fingers.
Yeah, a little jazz going.
If you're at a place where people are snapping their fingers, it's fancy.
Yeah.
You know, it's
like,
I don't think they're going for fancy. It's sophisticated.
Yeah.
It's like the theme song to Pink Panther when
Yes.
you walk in.
So the Moon Room, if you're living in Portland, definitely go check them out if you haven't already. Shout out to Portland in general. I saw a couple of people followed us on the socials that were from Portland.
Oh yeah.
So that was cool.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to Team Eclipse on Tap.
We're big in the Northwest.
Yeah.
We are.
In the PNW.
That's right.
Brah, we're big in the PNW.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna actually stop you when you said slinging beers because that is the new term. I feel like it's
Slinging bevs.
slinging bevs.
Yeah.
We got slung some bevs last night. I'm a little tired today.
I am
but,
too. A little crusty, but
yeah.
these beers will help that
I think
wash that crustiness away.
Yeah, it'll bevel the edge a little bit.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
another term we haven't really used in a while. Bringing that one
Yeah.
back.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Quality podcasting. Oh, you know that term, bevel the edge.
The terms that we use to describe
Yeah.
how hungover we are.
Yeah.
But it was neat to see some Portland listeners kind of engaging with what we got going on, and we feel like we're just in a really good spot, and it's been a great year so far in terms of the podcast. Last month for episode 52, meeting with Speciation on site, and we'll get into some interesting discussions we've had since that podcast with them. Maybe a little bit later. It was super fun. It was just a great atmosphere. Obviously, Ward and Mitch are great people, and we're looking forward to some things in the works with them.
Oh yeah. It's going to be good times.
So yeah, but yeah, episode 53 is spring's here. Haven't seen the sun in
haven't seen the sun in like 5 weeks. Spring hasn't really sprung.
no.
I wouldn't say.
Yeah. We're kind of in that.
It can't figure out how to get sprung.
Well, this is actually kind of like we've been a little bit spoiled. I feel like
sprung.
yeah, we've been a little bit spoiled. I think over the last like handful of years with early springs. You know,
Yep.
early warm springs, and this is kind of normal. I think we're back to the normal crappy spring, but.
So
We'll get through it.
do we want to talk? Actually, what I'm thinking right now on the fly here. We've got our stuff to talk about with the Eclipse and Speciation. We've got some alien stuff, of course. Why wouldn't we? What do we want to do first? Let's dive into aliens, I think, the second time.
Yeah, because we got a Martian lager, don't we?
We have a Martian lager.
Martian.
but Close
Well,
enough.
it's kind of Martian.
Yeah. It's we can
Let's
use
let-
our imagination.
We'll let the 5,000th batch settle in our systems, and
Yes.
then we'll get into the aliens.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So talking Speciation, that's a good segue anyway, because the last time that you heard from us, we were over there doing the recording, of course. They, Ward and Mitch have been just great proponents of what we have going on and our passion for what it is that, like, why we do this podcast. And so we're talking to them, of course, about the Eclipse 2024, April 8th. And I think somebody proposed the idea of doing a totality themed beer, like an Eclipse beer with them. And it's going to happen.
Ward was all over that. He was like, he's got a plan.
It down. The man has a plan.
He's very passionate about what he does, and then when we mentioned this, I think that definitely he's super excited about it. And we're 2 years away. It's gonna be a hell of a beer. I know that, but
It will be.
we'll have some time to work out what we're gonna do. I think we'll plan to meet up with him and talk
he's
about it.
got a couple different ideas. That was what's so cool is like it's not like they're waiting for us. I mean, they're like into it with us. You know, it's a collaborative effort, and we talked about how it would be like a dream come true if we somehow collabed with one of our brewing partners, and it's going to happen. It will happen. Like, it's really exciting. It took me a while to like let that sink in.
Yeah,
We're going to make a beer.
yeah, it's happening.
Yeah,
It's happening.
it is. It's happening.
Well, we've talked about doing it, and even trying to do our own. What were we talking about doing? Like our own moonshine or something like that. Even like back in the early days for the 2024 Eclipse, we thought about doing something to commemorate it. This will be even better.
It will be, because it'll have a layer of professionalism that we're not capable of.
Yeah.
We don't know how to brew beer, at least not very well. So that's going to be awesome. He's got some stuff all mapped out already, different options, we could do this, or we could try this, or we could do all three. Like it's just amazing. So the ambition is there.
We should pitch the aphid hop to him. Like, what do you think about aphids in the beer?
What type of flavors would that impart?
Probably won't go so well. But
we need to make a T-shirt too that just says like aphid hops or something.
Yeah.
With a little aphid
because it's become a recurring
fluttering
theme on this podcast.
We'll make the aphids little mini aliens that are on the hops.
Perfect.
Yeah.
One of the things I was most excited about is like our bike rides up there, and then starting like an astronomy night up there. I think that'd be so much fun in their little patio.
Yeah. And it is exactly the core of what it is that we're trying to do. Like get people
drink
to
some beers,
just casually get out,
stargaze,
look up at the night sky, and just gain some perspective in doing that. Feel good about just space. I mean, it's something that too many people this day and age, we've talked about it many times. They just go through their life thinking that they're the little.
They take it for granted.
Yeah. They do. I think they do.
Yeah.
So that would be a fantastic way to kind of bring that to life. And we've enjoyed. We got lucky. When was that? A couple weeks ago, we did get a warm week, and we went up there for a ride after, and they've just been so great. So
we rocked the new kit in Speciation.
We did. Yep.
Ordered ourselves a couple beers, and rode our bikes home.
Yep.
Through a kind of dangerous spot in Grand Rapids.
Yeah, Fulton was Fuller was closed, so we had to dogleg through some other areas, and it was.
You got your stop sign sprints in.
Yeah. It was interesting, but so there's a lot of things in the works with them, and just the idea of like, I mean, their little spot, as we discussed in episode 52, where you can hear it with more detail. Their spot is set back from the road, so even though you're in the middle of a city, you are going to get some decent sky on a clear night. And excuse me, you have a scenario where it's just going to be the summertime. People are drinking good beers. We get people active and out. If you want to ride, you can ride. If you want to just come up, I'm sure they'll have a thing posted about timing and everything. Yeah, we'll get it all in the works.
Yeah, and they're I guess they're setting, and we talked about it on the last episode too. But just. It's almost like, you go outside of the patio. It's like going to your backyard. Yeah. It's the same kind of feeling when you go out there, because it literally is like a grassy, patio backyard. So it'll be fun.
They've got the vibes.
Yeah, they do. They got the prime setup for it. So we'll.
And they're slinging bevies.
They're slinging bevies, left and right.
Left and right.
Get yourself a sour.
Yeah, some of the best.
Oh yeah.
So we'll have that in the works. And just, it's that feeling of going out and watching someone look through a telescope for the first time. I think we've all experienced that. It's pretty funny. Like, people react in like ways that you wouldn't imagine.
The amount of people that, like, if you bring a telescope to like a place like Speciation, you get Saturn in and like tell them, actually, you can see like the rings on Saturn. Mm-hmm. Their mind is blown.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy. Like, it's like, yeah, well, I mean, it's relatively close to us, and you can,
in the grand scheme.
Yeah. You can definitely make out the rings. No way. Like, you can, because if you've not looked through a telescope before, you're accustomed to just seeing like, what's the brightest star? That's Saturn. No, you look through a telescope and see it, you can actually make out what it is. It's not just a bright star out there.
Yeah, and people maybe are used to like the telescope they got when they were 8 from the Discovery Channel store.
The retractable one.
Remember that store, by the way? Do you guys have a Discovery Channel store?
We did. I think we did at the mall over here. Yeah,
that place
was after my time.
That place was legit. It was big when the pro team was Discovery.
Oh,
like that was Discovery was at an all-time high. Anyway, the telescopes that they sold, like. It's just a big magnifying glass in a tube, pretty much. I mean, that's what a telescope is, but to its most raw form, it was just this crappy little thing, right?
Yeah.
So you get a real telescope out there. People see the rings. People see a globular cluster, whatever it may be, and they just lose their mind.
Yeah. We could we'll start like a astronomy club night over there. And then get the race chaser over there. He'd love that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And he would be all about it.
He would be the perfect person to have there, because he actually knows where to find stuff. But
we are still.
It's a shame he doesn't drink beer.
We are still kind of acquiring that sense of the night sky. We're untouchable compared to his knowledge of just looking at the night sky, knowing where things are without the app, without the Starfinder app. He's such a pro at that. So I just can envision a nice warm evening in the summertime. It's going to be amazing. So keep your eyes out for that. If you're in the local area, it's going to be coming down the pipe, and we're going to be excited.
Keep your eyes out for that new Eclipse on Tap kit too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Start seeing it around.
I rocked it the other day, this past weekend. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've worn it
Pink
outside a
long
couple
sleeve.
times. It is super nice, and you'll see it at Grattan here soon. We'll start posting once the season turns over here.
Yeah.
We can get outside on a more regular basis. We'll be posting away. So excited to share that with the world too.
Still got a lot of the crew that needs to get their kit from me.
Oh yeah? Pickups?
Yeah. Come on, people.
Come on,
Got
now.
a trunk full of kit. Come on, get it.
Come on.
Get
I
amongst it.
wore the vest I'm wearing now for the video. I wore it on the way back from Speciation when David and I were there for some beers on the ride.
Yeah.
Because it was getting a little chilly at the end of the night. It was nice. It was so nice to ride. It really is. It's very comfortable to ride in even.
The original one that Gary gave me, I've had it a year, so it was prior to this winter. I took it over like wintertime mountain biking, and it was like, if you got rip in it all, you need to unzip it. It's that warm.
Yeah, and it's got the
It's like-
pockets. It's
But
so
it's
nice.
like perfect for like ride home from the bar at the end of the
Mhm.
night, and
Yep. That's. I think that's how we'll position it.
yeah.
That's its function.
It's the bar vest.
Also carries 3 beers very, very convenently.
Very conveniently with pockets in the back.
And you carry your Underberg in the back, too.
Yeah, everything.
Good to
Anything
go.
you could ever need. So if you haven't, if you're on the team and you haven't picked up your kit, come get it.
Iron Mike, I'm talking to you.
Iron Mike's been
know.
in warm climates.
Asshole.
I don't blame him.
He's been traveling the whole country.
Yeah.
So all these things to say with Speciation, it was such a momentum booster for us. So thank you again to Mitch and Ward and that whole team at Speciation for hosting us. We just feel like we're very, very much a part of it, I think.
Yeah, it's like, you get a new partner, and we were all excited about it.
Yep.
Because it's like, oh, fucking love Speciation, and sorry about the language.
You're good.
But you don't know what you don't know what you're going to get going into like an actual relationship. Like we knew Ward,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know Mitch. I didn't know what to picture him as or anything like that. But then you sit down for a podcast with them, and it's like sitting around a table with friends that you've known for a long time, and it went great. And I think they're as excited about it as we are.
Yes.
And then it's it's like Ecliptic, where John comes on and he's
Yeah.
excited about the podcast. It's just feels good to have those relationships building.
Yeah, it's like whenever you engage in something new with people you don't know, you're always looking for something like something to reciprocate. It doesn't have to be something big. You're talking even just like in a conversation, reciprocating.
I just want you to be a guy that I'd want, or a gal that I would want to sit down and have a beer with.
Yeah, exactly.
And chill with.
And so that like you said, it's first time we all met Mitch, and it's as if he was just here with us now, as a guest here on site in Pub39A. It wasn't this awkward thing at all. I didn't feel like we were stretching his time or any. Like he was like just rolling with us.
Yeah, and then we've talked to Ward before.
Yep.
And yeah, he's hilarious. Number one,
He's the funniest. Yeah.
and he's just a great guy, and he loves brewing. He loves the mystery of space. He shares that passion with us,
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually talked to just a couple of people that I just know, like from work, that happen to ride bikes and stuff like that, and I mentioned that we're partners with them and everything, and they're like, oh, and holy shit, you guys, you guys like Speciation. I'm like, hell yeah, we do. We're gonna be doing group rides out of there, and we're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's plans that for this summer we'll do a couple meetups for like an A and a B group, and do laps around the lake, and then meet back at Speciation for a beer afterwards and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. They're all on board with doing that. So I think it's just a lot of people I think locally that are into craft beers and all that kind of stuff are that I think the two go hand in hand, really. It's cycling and craft beer, really. I mean,
They definitely do.
They do.
In space, we found the niche. I think his name is Eric, one of the bartenders at Speciation, one of the folks up at the front of the house. He was like, yeah, I can't believe like you guys found this little niche. It's like they all go together, and we were like, yeah, well, we kind of grew into that. You know, we
Yeah.
like started to realize that people that like space also probably drink beer, and in a lot of cases like the outdoors, like to going for rides. It all kind of, there's some synergy there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's awesome. So it was a moment like in Step Brothers where we're like, did we just become best friends?
Yeah. Except that happened like right from the first second we said, welcome to episode 52.
Yes, exactly.
Like that was the cool part. And it happened even before we started recording. That's the, you know, the bond occurred then, you know. I think it's, it's exciting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So definitely go check Speciation out too if you're local. We've got 2 flavors for you. If you're in the PNW, go to Ecliptic. If you're in Grand Rapids, go to Speciation.
The GRR.
Yeah, the GRR.
Fly into the GRR.
Hop on the belt line.
Take the belt line.
You've landed in the 616.
Oh man. It's just fun. It's going to be a good partnership with them.
Yeah.
Good friendship.
Yeah.
And
what else we got going in space news?
some launches. There was
I was gonna say and we
some
also had
launches.
the catastrophic disassembly of one of the Apollo rockets.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
So at the Marshall Space Flight Center in Alabama, it was a very active place during the Apollo era, but it is, I think, now turning into just not as utilized. And there are some relics, some absolute legendary artifacts that are still on site there. Because it's
but like you got an actual rocket that like contributed to our space exploration, and you're just gonna like the pictures they had, it was just like a bulldozer rolling the thing over.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah,
they didn't even lay her down easy. They just literally took the excavator
Give
and
it
just
a graceful ending. Come on,
slicing it up.
They
fill it with fuel one last time and let it blow.
Send it off to the ocean and let it become a coral reef or something like.
Or even, I mean, literally just bring it down to the Cape. They got so much land down at the Cape. Just put it on display down there.
Yeah, like the Saturn V that they have in its full length, they have just laying down on the way out to the vehicle assembly building. Just like it's just on display. I don't understand. Or even like Huntsville, the rocket garden there. There's tons of rockets. Mm-hmm. There's a Saturn 1B that is fully laying down there. There's a Saturn V standing up. Like also, there's plenty of things they could have done with that. So I don't really understand that. And it just, like you said, Nathan, it doesn't make sense to me that they don't have the money or the time or the ability to do so, because the demolition of that and disposal of that was likely what it would have cost for someone, Right. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's like a drop in the bucket for their budget.
That'd be so cool, even just to take a saw down there and cut out just a piece of it, like a piece that has like the American flag.
And put it up in a frame or something. There's so many things they could have done, and they did the worst thing.
Yeah.
The worst.
I could keep going with the things that you could do with that right now.
Government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. So
much red tape, and there was probably some weird conversations being had about it, and everyone knew that it wasn't the right thing to do, but they still did it anyway.
Story of my life.
Classic. So that was sad to see for sure, and it just, hopefully it's not a trend. I hope that they don't start doing that with if they do that to the Saturn V that's standing up at Huntsville.
Oh, they'll never do that. They just repainted that thing.
I'll kill someone.
Yeah. Well, that's not even like a real Saturn V, I've heard. I've heard that's just like literally like a replica of it, but a full scale one. I've heard that.
It might be. I know that there are some at the Rocket Garden in Huntsville and the Rocket Garden at the Cape that are replicas.
Yeah.
But I don't know I can't remember.
This one was not a replica that they demolished.
This one was a real deal, yeah. Saturn 1B booster. And but yeah, like I said, it just hopefully doesn't become a trend, because it's not fair to that era.
Right? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You wouldn't go into like a American history or natural history museum American history museum and like, all right, the first Ford Model T that was built, like, oh, it doesn't run anymore, let's just demolish it. Like, come on. That's where I don't know. It just bothers me. Like, why would you destroy it?
The whole community, the whole like space community on Twitter and everything, they, everyone was upset about it. And the reality, which is almost worse, is that it did take a long time. Like I said, they had it in that public space for a while on sale, quote unquote. and they just dragged the whole process out.
Right.
Like, even after all that time, like how much time did they waste in money just doing that? And then at the end of it all, they just were like, just throw it out.
Assholes.
It reminds me, you know what it's like? I saw this today. Commuting home, I was going to let the dogs out at lunch. I'm at the corner of Burton and Breton, and we're at the red light. There was a woman in a car in front of me who was in the wrong. Like I was going to turn onto Burton, but for those that don't know, the lanes merge ahead, and you get this classic douche that's in the right-hander is going to try to speed ahead of you and cut you off. Well, on top of the fact they were already in the wrong lane, we're at the red light. She just opens the door, drops off, like throws a bag of, it looked like a McDonald's bag, just full of probably her recent McDonald's, just sets it on the ground, closes the door, still a red light, just goes across and just zooms away.
You have got to be kidding me.
I swear to God. It was terrible.
I've given up on humanity.
It was terrible.
That it is almost the same thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Demolishing the 1B.
You're on the same level. It takes the same type of person. So it's like, come on now. Let's get it together.
That's
oh my
just
God.
unacceptable. And that goes for both stories. It's unacceptable. Destroy the 1B, leave your shit on the ground, destroy planet Earth.
Yeah,
like,
and
it's unacceptable.
It was one of those situations too where like
now I'm pissed off.
If she
now you pissed me off, damn it.
If she didn't like zoom through the light, like I'm not really one to get out of my car and start some of an engagement.
I would.
I'm not as confrontational.
This, miss.
Yeah, but I almost wanted to do that, right?
Yeah.
Like and who knows, maybe I'd be famous on a TikTok video.
You pull around her and just block her car in.
Yeah, something like to pretty much be like, what the hell? Like this is a common truth that we all know. Like you don't do this kind of shit. And but then to make matters worse, she just zoomed right through the red.
Oh, great.
After having sat there, we were sitting at the red
I'm not
for
even
a couple
surprised
minutes.
by that now.
No, and she could have been T-boned by somebody in a car.
Do better, humanity. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all fired up. Damn it.
How now? Let me ask you this: how old were we talking here? Was she like
20s?
20. Okay, so probably Gen Z.
Probably Gen Z.
Okay, so there's that answers. That really does answer that one. They've been a pain in my ass here for a little while. These Gen Z kids.
Yeah, that's the thing is that and if you're a listener and you're Gen Z,
don't be one of them.
Well, yeah, you're fine. You're good, but you
keep listening to this podcast. It's the best advice we can give you.
If you're listening to this and you're a Gen Z, then you're not a part of this facet of Gen Z, right? Like you've already proven.
I didn't mean to offend Gen Z people by that comment,
but no, you're right. What the thing about Gen Z is that they don't care about anything. Like it's just like this, almost like a. You've seen the trends in the way that the workforce is going. Which a lot of it's fine, but
guys,
another beer?
I'm thirsty. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, long story short, NASA, I'm not happy with you. And then to this lady,
none of us are.
NASA, you're acting like a damn Gen Z.
And if this lady is a listener of this, podcast, we are blocking you. We don't need your kind around here.
Yeah. How hard is it to throw your McDonald's into the trash can? Damn it. All right, next one.
You filled your body with garbage. The least you could do is not throw your garbage on the earth.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we should do the slide down from the 13 to like the 6 and then to the lagers. I think that probably makes sense.
Sounds good.
Just keep the heavy ones coming. Yep.
Yeah. So this is
first half's going great so far. Let's tank it.
Yep. Let's keep it rolling. Another Ecliptic beer. Again, like I said, they in the last couple of months have just been slinging bevs. Vega IPA series. This is one we're very familiar with, and it just came
the rundown
in the mail today.
Ooh,
fresh. This is as fresh as it could be. So the note from Colette for Vega IPA number 13. We've been privy to, I think, quite a few of these Vegas.
We have.
This
has got to be 8 or 9. I think
6.5.
No, 8 or 9.
Oh, sorry,
Vegas that we've had.
I thought you were talking ABV. Yeah, it's got to be getting close to double digits.
Yeah.
This one is an official Pink Boots collaboration, and they talk about what Pink Boots is at the bottom. Vega IPA number 13 is hopped exclusively with the 2022 Pink Boots blend. Floral and fruity, this hop blend showcases bright melon and orange while finishing super clean and dry. Vega IPA is an experimental hop playground for our curious and creative brewers to continuously source new and unique hops. They explore the boundaries of the IPA style, and the result is a fresh and distinctly different IPA for each new release. This beer is dedicated to the women in the craft beer industry who put in all the important hard work. A portion of this beer's proceeds are donated to the Pink Boots Society. So it's a collaboration with this group that showcases and empowers women in the brewing industry.
Hell yeah, we're rocking
awesome.
the pink on the kit.
We rock the pink.
And the sticker, so they put the sticker for the video. We'll show a close-up. But the Vega IPA, each one has its own sticker. It's like an exclusive event when the new one drops. And this is the number 13 sticker, and it's in pink, which is really cool. The first thing, when I first opened it, I thought of our kit. It's like the same pink.
Yeah.
It's like the exact same shade. It's pretty cool. So yeah, cheers to this one. 6.5% ABV. And what we've learned over the course of drinking these Vegas is that no two are the same.
This is correct.
I always look forward to this.
Each one has been a little bit different, and they also hit different too.
They do. And so the last Vega was not very hazy. This one, I'm spilling a little.
It's all good.
Just
Keep
a
your
couple
composure.
drips. Just a couple drips. It didn't
Keep your
overflow.
composure.
Don't worry, folks. It didn't overflow.
It looks really good.
It looks amazing, yeah, and it's just the perfect balance of maybe a little bit of haziness. I'll pour yours, David, and I will not spill.
I almost sipped it. It just called my name. All right, cheers. Quick. I want to drink.
He's thirsty. The man's thirsty, John.
Ooh,
Hops.
very good.
Hops,
A lot of
baby.
hops.
Let's go.
A lot of
Very
hops
good.
and light.
Yeah, drinkable, but very hoppy. So what I read about this, I did a little exploring into this collaboration.
I like this a lot.
in detail.
Very good.
So
I like it.
they reference this is hopped exclusively with the 2022 Pink Boots blend, right?
Mm.
I was like, what does that mean? So I looked it up, and from what I understand, the Pink Boots organization brewed like this blend of or not brewed, but created this blend of hops, and then whoever wanted to collaborate got that blend, and then they got to take their own, do whatever they wanted to do with it. They could have done probably a number of things, but they decided to toss it into their Vega series because it made sense.
Slung it in there.
Slung it in.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's a playground.
Yep, and then you get
the pink
this.
boots in it.
So yeah, exactly. So that's pretty cool. So I'm sure that there's other breweries that were also doing Pink Boots collabs, and it just seemed like it fit. It was like a puzzle piece when I opened it. This is really cool.
It's a really good one after that barley wine.
It is.
That barley wine was so heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
This is like a nice crisp.
It is very
hoppy.
crispy.
Yeah.
Crispy, hoppy.
It's crispy.
Drinkable.
Got it.
Very, very good. Cheers to the Pink Boots.
Cheers
and
to Ecliptic.
Cheers to Ecliptic for yet another Vega IPA. There's not been a single Vega that I have tried that I didn't like.
Not
No.
a single one. No, absolutely. I mean,
They have been quite
all
different
awesome.
though. Like we've had some that are real hazy.
Mhm.
We've had some that are
Clear.
like clear or more transparent than this. This ranks up there for me though. This
Yeah,
is a really
definitely.
good one. A lot of flavor, but not like heavy.
Super good. So we'll post some photos of these, and if you're in the Portland area, definitely go get this. I'm so jealous of those of you that get to go take this off the
Did
tap.
you see that?
Yeah,
Ah.
that's got to be so good.
Sorry, but Ecliptic. Did you see they have a salesman out in Colorado now?
Mm-hmm.
I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're expanding. Well, they were in Colorado already,
smell a
but
ski trip next year.
yeah, that's like remember they have
Yeah.
it all. They've got it there,
Yeah.
and this is only going to make it more prevalent in the area. They're up in their sales game in Colorado.
Got to bring them over here.
Yeah, we do.
Got to do it.
It's got to be. It's got to be. I mean,
When I saw that post, I was like, "Oh, David would be perfect for that."
just that would be so
I
much
did
fun.
see that too. I was like, oh man, that's a dream job
That
right
would be
there.
so much fun.
Yeah, that'd be a
I
lot
mean,
of fun.
is it really work if you get to sling Ecliptic Brewing?
You're just
You just sling out the Vegas to people.
Yeah.
Oh man,
So Ecliptic, if you ever want to distribute to Michigan, you know who to call.
D. Will's your
we're
boy.
looking at you.
Give
Should-
us a shout.
Yeah. No. Very, very generous of them. I mean, it seems like, every other week or so we get a message from you that they send a new beer. And,
Yeah, they've been on a
they've-
kick lately.
Yeah, they've been like more than generous with with handing out slinging the beers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good.
Yep. And they actually, so what we discussed a little bit, I think on episode maybe 51, 2 ago, they sent us a couple of kind of darker bourbon barrel aged stuff. And some of them were ones that we were lucky enough to try the last year. And so we've talked about it on the podcast. Some of them were new, kind of like Batch 5000, where it's like, oh yeah, we're going to drink this and we're going to talk about it. But for the ones that we've already had, we've got a little stock now and we're going to age them.
Yep.
So I've got two. You've got two. So we'll have our little cellar and crack those in the future.
Yeah.
That'll be amazing. But yeah, we've just been rolling through this podcast. So we'll take a quick break.
Berg break.
We'll take our Berg, and we'll enjoy this Vega IPA number 13 Pink Boots edition. Be back with you in a few. Cheers.
Cheers.
Eclipse on Tap is brought to you by Ecliptic Brewing. Ecliptic Brewing, located in Portland, Oregon, brings you the best space beers ever made.
Oh, without a doubt. The space beer trend is big,
but no one
they own it.
They own it.
They absolutely own it. Legendary brewmaster John Harris really brings together his passion for space and beer together in now 2 locations in Portland, Oregon, Ecliptic Brewing and the Moon Room.
Moon Room looks awesome.
Gotta check it out. If you live in the Pacific Northwest, make it a destination. Some of the best beer you'll ever have.
Go to the website too.
Yeah, eclipticbrewing.com. Check them out today.
Eclipse on Tap is also brought to you by one of our long-standing friends. He's our official shop supplier. Rockford Bike Shop, George T. Swansea, his wife Katie, Geese. The team over there is awesome. If you want great prices, awesome selection of product, they have more in the state than really any other dealer I know of right now. And just professional service. I mean, I only trust my bike to George at Rockford Bike Shop.
He can do it all. He really can.
Whatever you need for your bike, whether you are a recreational rider or a full-blown racing cyclist, George has what you need. And he'll get your bike in tip-top shape for the spring season. Welcome back from the Berg break, where we all indulged in a fantastic Underberg.
Provided by
Underberg Martin.
Yep.
It is the best thing you can do if you're just looking to
cleanse the palate.
Become bright and alert. Cleanse
bright
the palate.
And alert.
Settle that tummy down.
Get into the second half of whatever you're doing.
We had a couple of good ecliptic beers.
Speaking of which, Devo,
yeah,
you haven't read one.
Let's go ahead and let's see. You have the choice.
Oh shit! Get my reading glasses.
I can't read anyway. What do you think we want to do, guys?
We got to do the Marzian.
Yep. I think that I agree with that.
First off, the label is amazing.
Green.
Yeah,
like a Martian.
Very I don't know. There's a certain just like their spot, subdued quality to it that's really appealing. I think.
All right,
it's not in your face.
Yeah.
Moon Room Series, the Marzian Lager. Marzian. All right. Moon Room Series. All right, here I go. The 2022 Ecliptic Brewing Moon Room Series is our ode to all things lager beer. Traditionally brewed in spring, this German-style lager has notes of light toast balanced with a crisp and clean hop presence. Come visit the Moon Room at Southeast Portland, 930 Southeast Oak Street. It is 5.7%.
All right.
It's going to be good.
Sounds amazing.
It is. Come on, man. I got to say, the label is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's
the first Moon Room crack was nice. That was one of the best.
Ooh, that's darker than I thought.
Yeah,
that is.
Marzen
That's
is
a surprise.
It's usually Oktoberfest beers.
Yeah,
that's like a Marzen lager. So they usually kind of have that amber. Marzen beers are among my favorite. That time of the year where it's like late summer, early fall.
Yeah,
and all the Oktoberfest beers come out. Oh man, it's amazing. It's the best time.
It's kind of got the color of like a Big Red or a Triumph.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers to the Moon Room.
Ooh,
Super smooth.
Oh yeah.
that's very smooth.
There's and I'm saying this in the best way. There's like a creaminess to it, like a smooth quality compared to something like an IPA that's
Yeah.
quite more of
That's
a punch.
Yeah.
This is
All
very
right.
smooth.
First 3 ones that we tasted tonight. What's your favorite so far?
For me, this one. I like the smooth quality.
I'm going
I like
Vega.
I like the lighter taste.
I'm going Vega.
Vega.
I like Vega was pretty heavily carbonated. It was like one of those, really light but hoppy carbonated brews. That's kind of my.
I like all of
Jam.
them, but if I had to pick, I'd say
Yeah.
Vega.
Vega, yeah. It was an IPA that was more hop forward than it was like malt forward. Like
Although-
a Two Hearted is super malty.
Yeah. If I was gonna sit down and have a beer, Marzian might be the one for me.
Yeah, it's something I would see pairing very well with food.
Yeah.
Making
Steak.
Cooking a meal,
Some green beans. Green bean casserole.
roasting up
Asparagus.
something.
Yeah.
Asparagus.
Head to the moon room. Get yourself some. Get
Yeah.
amongst it.
Can we talk?
Sling a beer.
Can we
Sling a
talk
beer.
aliens yet?
Yeah, so aliens has been a topic of conversation over the last, I would say, 2 years on a fairly frequent basis for good reason. For good reason.
For good reason.
It's
I
been,
joined the podcast.
well, you joined the podcast, but also it's been prevalent in even mainstream news, right?
Yeah.
Like we've seen these releases of either information becoming declassified or public arenas essentially kind of joining the conversation.
Folks, we're not talking about YouTube videos.
We're
that
talking about the Pentagon
Joe
releasing.
Schmo made. Yeah, we're talking about real stuff.
Let
Yeah.
me read you the headline.
This is the newest.
From Live Science, UFOs left radiation burns and unaccounted for pregnancies. New Pentagon report claims. 1,500 pages of UFO related research were just declassified as part of a FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act request. I haven't
That
read
is
all
interesting.
1,500 pages yet.
As a quick
Joe
insertion,
Rogan says, I'm pregnant.
as a quick insertion, can you imagine? So I'm guessing people that follow this super closely probably knew what date that was scheduled to release, right? I can only imagine the government was like, on this day, we're going to reveal some stuff.
Yeah.
So can you imagine what like Jeremy Corbell was doing? That he was probably
Just dry humping us.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Sorry.
I guess you'd have to read. You would have to read the in more detail. If there's actual stories behind it and all that. I would think that there would have to be.
Yeah.
And if they're declassifying everything, you would think there'd be, legitimate info behind it. They wouldn't just come out and make a statement like that and then that's
Right.
it.
No, it's not just a headliner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
The thing that I'm sorry.
you're good. I was just gonna say I'm picturing a scene where you hear these stories from the 1950s of people being abducted, and then you kind of hear their story. They have eyewitness accounts or something. They go to the sheriff's office and they write it all down, but then you don't really hear what happened like 9 months after.
Yeah.
Like
10 years after.
did that woman suddenly become pregnant out of the blue?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it could have been just like that person's boyfriend that was making up the story. Like she got abducted. I don't know where the baby came from.
Exactly.
Something like that.
Yeah, and that's exactly the way to look at this type of information. It is to be I think it's natural to be skeptical, and it's good because like you're trying to balance it. So that absolutely could be the case. Like the boyfriend poked a hole in the condom and
The point I was just going to... Yeah. The old hole in the Jimmy sleeve.
I want a baby.
Damn it. The thing that gets me on this, though, is like, it seems like a lot of UFO talk gets thrown under the rug as like, the conspiracy theorists, nut jobs that wrap their head in tinfoil or whatever. But the fact that there's 1,500 pages of Pentagon like classified materials that's being released shows that it's not just like nut jobs out there that are obsessed with UFOs like us.
Yeah.
But it's actually something that the government pays attention to.
Yes.
And that they have tracked, obviously for a period of time, if there's 1,500 pages, and they're talking about radiation marks and unaccounted for pregnancies and this and that, like it's something that they've had a concern with for a while.
I mean, I would be curious to see if they've actually tracked, okay, those kids were born. Now, DNA tests.
DNA tests, or just like behavioral.
Or you would hope that like they would, if it's an unaccounted for pregnancy and nobody can explain it, follow that child through its life. I mean, Truman Show kind of stuff, but like follow that kid through its life, and like, you know, like you said, DNA tests, like, is it more susceptible to like environmental issues, or is it like immune to COVID, or like, you know, just different things like that? Because if it's got that genetic makeup in it, what might it be have been or precluded, or whatever you want to say, from contacting on Earth? Or maybe, you know, that its immunity to things that we currently deal with is gone, and all of a sudden it's more susceptible to getting like, you know, things that to us are in the past.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah,
it would be just
very interesting to see this come. And if I recall correctly, the first release of some of this information becoming declassified, when I think the very first kind of drop, as I'm sure Jeremy Corbell calls it, oh, there's a drop coming. Got to get ready.
If I do recall correctly.
Yeah. He says, so essentially the drop comes, and the first one I think was something surrounding UFOs themselves, the vehicles. Like we've recognized these Navy videos, and we don't know what these are. Like we've had all sorts of, and that was like the first time that happened. And if I remember, it was right in the teeth of COVID first hitting. Yeah. And I remember we're all like, what's happening?
Well, yeah.
Suddenly, like
we're now Russia's invading Ukraine, and all of a sudden we drop 1,500 pages of
it's crazy. Yeah, we're just getting
that the Pentagon
the last 2 to 3 years. We've just been hit with a bunch of crazy shit.
They're slinging it.
They're slinging
shit at us.
Literal shit. Yeah. And it's crazy. I just thought about that. Like the first drop that they did was.
Well, you think
right
about it. Those kids. I mean, those kids that were born from the unexplained pregnancy. I mean, they're alien children.
They're
technically. If I mean, I don't. That's true. The thing. Like, there has to be. They've got to be doing something. Like,
did you guys see the I don't know if it was a link that was posted on Rogan's post or something that was affiliated with, you know, the release of information and the unaccounted for pregnancies, and then they started drawing that into religion. How, like, you know, supposedly Mary, or, you know, as the Bible says, I shouldn't say supposedly, as the Bible says, Mary was the virgin mother of Christ, and then like possibly Christ was an alien. Like there was like all these, we can cut this out, but there was all these like far-reaching theories then on like what that could mean to like significant people within history.
Yeah, it's like that next set of information allows people that they just take it in every direction possible.
Oh yeah,
it's like
that's where you draw out the nuts.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
That's where you get like the kooks that are like,
everyone's like,
well, this means this.
Yeah,
like,
it's like
the flat earthers come out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like everyone comes out of the woodworks to take on this new data and do with it what they will. Right. Like it reminds me of so last Friday, a week ago, the 1950 census data released. It's the same type of thing. Like I get really interested in like genealogy, building out family trees, like figuring out who built our house in the 20s, all that stuff. And so I was like, oh, that's cool. And so you can get an extra page in the, you know, like you get to know a little bit more. Like it just trickles in because of the censuses. They don't release that until 72 years after they were taken.
Yeah, it's almost like you said, with everything going on, it's almost too much information right now. Mm-hmm. It's almost too much for the head to handle.
I think it absolutely. I mean, it's proven. I mean, it's like look at what this woman did today. She just pulled up at a red light, dropped off her bag of McDonald's trash, and literally just drove through the red light. Like doesn't care about anything. Like people like that. It's you know what everyone has gone through in the last 2 to 3 years. People are
in
doing
a
crazy
fragile
shit,
state.
and they're doing crazy shit like that. Like
Yeah,
they're just
yeah.
like, I'm just gonna throw this bag out.
I mean, hell, I'm in a fragile state. You know,
Even like,
I mean,
can you imagine taking the extra step not to press the power window and toss your trash out the window, to actually open the door, set it on the ground, and then close? Like, what do you? It's just so odd. But anyway,
as if that's the dump.
yeah,
Just,
as if
that's the trash right there.
Yep. Yeah. So, getting back to the recent drop of information, I think it is an interesting. It's like if the Harry Potter books came out and they released it one chapter at a time, right? You get to you keep learning about the story. Or Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I was gonna say Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Julia and I watched Lord of the Rings: Fellowship of the Ring the other day, like a weekend ago, on just like a lazy day. And needless to say, I essentially watched. She departed like 15 minutes in, but those movies are old.
Departed.
I feel like they're 21 years old.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and like the CGI is not like that good.
Yeah.
It looks like a older movie now. It's so weird. Time flies.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting back to the aliens with abrasions and unforeseen pregnancies. I think it's a really interesting chapter in the story of aliens
It is.
and the lore of what might be.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we've talked about it a number of times. Like here's a video of a unidentified ship that a naval pilot saw, or we're seeing these things off the coast, going in and out of the water. It's like one drop of information, another drop. Now it's on to like maybe human encounters and
Real shit.
yeah, like what could have happened, unexplained things that have happened to people or whatever. And it's like there's a build coming, and to your point earlier, like, all right, we've gone through a pandemic. We're now facing a really, tense situation with Russia, Ukraine, blah, blah, blah. And if these people or these beings, assuming that they are actually here, and some of the stories that we've talked about are true, and they want us to care for our Earth, now would be a good time to intercept, because we're on the brink of like somebody dropping a nuke, or just shit going sideways for Earth between coming out of a pandemic and then like a World War III situation on the brink.
Yep.
Now would be a good time to like settle this all down and just be like, all right, we're here to police you a little bit. Stay in your lane, people.
Go ahead.
Or if we know they're already here, like if our intelligence knows that they're here already, then just tell us. Just tell us right now. Like, stop the tease.
Yep.
Stop the tease. I'm gonna start wearing a T-shirt that says,
well, Elon
stop
bought
the tease.
Twitter.
9%. Yep.
So, he's like
9%.
He's got a good share in it anyway. So now, if we want to drop any info, he's got the keys to the.
He's got the keys to the castle.
Yeah.
He that was an interesting move, and the upside with him getting involved in that, and not to get political, it is a person that we know is not afraid to say what they want to say, right? Like Elon does that all the time.
He's pretty unfiltered.
Yeah, he just says what is on his mind, and most of what he has to say is pretty intelligent. I feel like the majority of people would agree, and him getting involved in Twitter, which has been under so much fire for becoming so woke and like you can't
politicized.
Yeah, it's become so politicized, which is so
filtered.
odd. Yeah, and their censorship issues.
Becoming Gen Z.
Yeah, exactly. So Elon getting involved with Twitter is a good thing.
Oh, for sure.
It's going to be it's better for society, I think.
Yeah.
So here's the question. Getting back into the aliens. Here was my question, and this is going to get metaphysical. We should have like a little song where it's like
getting metaphysical.
Yeah, with like a little beat to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an intro to the next.
Metaphysical.
And then we go into it. Here's your metaphysical thought for the month.
Go on.
So you have a scenario where if this is true, if there's like no one saw this pregnancy coming, the woman was single, had never had sex before, it was unexpected.
She was a virgin.
Yeah, she was a virgin.
Like a virgin.
Or maybe not a virgin, but hasn't been like seen anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that happens, and whether or not they decided to follow along with the child, do you think that individual knows?
Well, you would
that they're an alien. Like, do you think that, or do you think they?
I mean,
think
we
they're
don't
a
know
person?
where we came from. Like, how far back can you really recall? Like, I have, which I think is pretty astounding. I have some memories when I was like 2, and then I have like preschool memories, like that. But I mean, prior to that, nobody remembers anything. Like, and look at like a child that is adopted. If you adopt a child when they're like 6 months old,
they don't know,
and you don't tell them that you're not their biological parent, they never know the difference.
So it's the distinguishing factor, though. Is it, if we're getting metaphysical, if we're talking metaphysics,
we're getting way
we're past the
right
intro
now.
song, so we're here. If we're talking metaphysics, we are saying it's a known fact that there's it's a factor.
But they don't know they're aliens. Elon's an
Right.
alien and he doesn't know it.
He could have been one of those kids.
But the distinguishing factor is, did aliens more intelligent than us encounter our planet and then just want to essentially like continue what we have going on? Because that would be the argument for the child that's born doesn't know, but that would just be like aliens saying like, let's just populate,
let's impregnate them.
yeah, let's just keep it going, versus them saying like, we're gonna do this because it is it's gonna throw up some flags that it's a unforeseen pregnancy, but at the end of the day, they're giving birth to what looks like a human, so they're gonna. It's a person, right?
End of the day, it happens. So
it happens.
They're not going to think anything different.
But my point being is, then they know, like they're leaning on that as being a very discreet way to enter one of their kind into our world.
Yeah.
Right. Like they've
you
studied
think that they're tracking that person.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And maybe that person knows. Maybe that person is Elon or somebody and they have these behavioral quirks and they're kind of goofy because they're not like really human.
Yeah.
But they kind of are. So I don't know.
They've had to relearn to talk because they're used to just reading someone else's mind.
Yeah, and he's going for Neuralink now.
Yeah.
He's getting
just saying, that's the curious thing about him is like all the things that you hear about aliens, like they don't speak, they don't have mouths, they just communicate, telepathically or however, without words. And now he's going to develop Neuralink, which would then lead to us becoming that.
Yeah, and my thinking on it with Elon, and this is like the devil's advocate to it not necessarily being the fact that Elon's an alien. This theory would be Elon is a normal human. He's just a genius and this whatever. In his eyes, I feel like if you were to ask him, do aliens exist? He would say yeah. And then he would say, it's not to say that they necessarily encountered us and like are trying, like, I'm not an alien kind of deal. It's more or less that our society is now reaching a status where we can, like, we're on the bar of something like a more intelligent species.
Hey, on this topic, I don't mean to cut you off, David. On this topic, I have a good thing that I just heard on a Rogan podcast with I don't know what the guy, it was a PhD, but he some type of role within like evolution and kind of how we came to be type position. And I think he was at Harvard. But a lot of the studies on humans say that based on how quickly we've advanced to the point that we are, it should have taken 10 billion years for us to get here. Mm-hmm. But the Earth is only 4 billion years old. Mm-hmm. So either we've advanced at a much more rapid rate than I guess everything that they can come up with in the way that we evolved from basically a single cell organism to what we are now should have taken 10 billion years.
Yeah. And
they're saying, did somebody or something intervene and advance us, or were we transplanted to Earth because Earth is only 4 billion years old?
Yeah. And keeping on the topic,
the timelines don't match up.
For if you're like, this is still within the metaphysics conversation. So that evolutionary theory is true. Like, so if you look at something like think about other animals, we all might have started at different points, but the reality is that as smart and self-aware as a dog or like a whale is, it's not what we've evolved to.
Mhm.
Like we're
Yeah.
on another level to the point where it's like to that individual's point, like was there something that intervened, or is it truly just humans like just the path in the evolutionary tree that we all started from,
But in a
our,
way,
our little vein just happened to be like legit. I don't know.
Yeah.
in a way, I feel like we're getting dumber.
Yeah, we're receding.
That-
You know,
We are receding.
I would
I feel like
totally
we are.
agree with that.
goes
Yeah.
back to the story of the woman dropping her trash on the road, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
It's just like,
it just happens now, and it's
are we
accepted.
just getting that? Are we that dumb?
Yeah,
Destroying a Saturn 1B rocket. Are we that dumb?
yeah.
Um,
Coming full circle.
but
Yeah,
what-
exactly.
One of the things I was going to say when you brought up Elon, he's actually said on, I think on Rogan, that it's not. He doesn't think, or he thinks that we would know about them now, or they would make themselves aware. Like it's almost like he actually has been asked by Rogan, do you believe that aliens are around? He almost thinks that it's not the case, because they would have, why would we not already have known this? Like,
Yeah, his
Aliens
They're
answer.
are
idiots, and they're
you know.
far more advanced than us.
But his answer when he's asked those types of questions is always like he's definitely, it seems like, at least a firm believer of like anything could be possible.
Yeah.
So if you're saying like, are aliens possible? He'd be like, yeah. Is it possible that we are literally the only self-aware, intelligent beings in the universe, or like in everywhere? He could say possibly, yeah. That's why he talks about the simulation theory. Possible, sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, crack that.
Yeah, another beer.
This is another Moon Room series. Read it.
Vienna style lager. Ooh, we've had a Vienna style, haven't we?
Yeah,
A couple.
it was under the Ecliptic name though.
Yeah.
This is their first Moon Room
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
The 2022 Ecliptic Brewing Moon Room series is our own ode to all things lager beer. Lagered for 6 weeks, this traditional Vienna style lager has notes of oven fresh bread and caramel candy. It is balanced
Caramel.
with just enough noble hops.
I think we picked the right one to
End it.
end it.
Yeah.
This sounds like
5.6.
To send it.
sounds like a nice light, fluffy dessert.
5.6 ABV.
Let's go.
Let's go.
When it said
Sounds
notes
good.
of like
Sounds good
fresh
pouring in.
fresh bread, oh, that just, I can smell it now.
Caramel.
Nice.
Matthew?
Yes, my glass.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing this is the last one, because I think I'm good after this one.
Yeah. I mean, oh, that's nice. That's commercial grade, folks.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Check that out.
Perfect pour, no overflow, right to the top.
Cheers,
All right,
boys.
cheers. Yep.
One final.
Final sample. Thank you, Ecliptic.
Thank you. This might be the most beer we've drank on this podcast in a while.
Oh, that's good. Crispy.
That's really good.
So nice. It's exactly what I needed. It's light, drinkable, and a perfect beer to end the night.
Very good.
Perfect. So yeah, who knows if Elon is an alien? I don't know.
He is. I think he is. I mean,
I think
I
he's
don't
just
know,
a super genius that
either he is, or he just has this this way to open his mind to this new idea and introduce us commoners to it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have thought of a lot of the things that he thinks of, but that's what makes him a genius. But that also is what makes me think he might be an alien.
Well, he also has the money to back it up.
Yes.
So I've got a lot of crazy ideas, but do I have the money
Yeah.
to do that?
He's paired
No.
it with a ability to just win this game of life, right? Like he just knows how to, I don't know if it's like how he communicates, or he gets people to back him, and he's succeed. Like this game of life that we live, he has
He's
like
so
winning.
much momentum.
Yeah, and
Like-
he's just like, it's like a video game, it seems like.
When he bought whatever percent of Twitter,
9%.
yeah.
9.
People are like out of their minds, like, yes, Elon's an owner now. Like, you know, it's like he just has this like army behind him,
Mhm.
rightfully so, because the guy's a genius and he's pushing the boundaries of normal, existence that we know. It's fascinating to watch, like how he has this momentum behind him, and it's like no matter what the cause is, whether it's like space exploration, electronic cars, Neuralink, tunnels, whatever, or just Twitter and unfiltered speech.
Yeah,
he has this following that just is amazing to watch. Like, and I'm fully
you're on board.
Too.
You're on board.
I'm one of the followers.
Well, the other crazy thing too, not to get down the whole thing of the Twitter thing, but he based his decision not to do that on a poll that he put on Twitter.
Yeah. He's rolling. He's got the ability to just go off the cuff with stuff like that and be like, hey, who knows? Maybe even if he put any thought to that a day before the decision, like maybe it was that off the cuff. But I think the interesting thing with him is it is kind of a cultural swing. Look at how we as a culture talk about, kind of put up like an Albert Einstein type person or a Nikola, like these individuals in time throughout culture, like sparingly for sure. There's very few of them, but like they pop up and they become a cult phenomenon because they're a genius.
Think about, to that point, think about how much bigger Elon's sphere of influence is by the fact that he can just tweet out.
Yeah.
Like Tesla or, the people that have come before him that may have been of that same kind of genetic code or whatever you want to call it, didn't have like that platform to reach worldwide. Yeah. Elon does. And
he's a modern day version of that. Yeah.
And imagine like how cool that would be. Just, you come to the table tonight and say, I've got more money than anybody on earth. All I got to do is cash in a couple of Tesla stocks or whatever. What do you want me to do with it? And just put it out to the, Twitter sphere or, however you want to broadcast it. And they say, oh, well, buy 9% of Twitter. And we want to see what you do with it because we like what you're doing or, whatever your reason is for telling him that, like to have that kind of influence over really all of humanity is just, it's kind of crazy. That's what makes me think he's an alien.
Yeah, because
that's a good point.
Because generally it seems that his intents are good, and I think that's why people stand behind him. They're looking at the world like any normal person would, and they're saying, there's certain issues or there's certain things that could be improved, and this guy's doing it, and he seems to be doing it right.
He's
so
the dude
we're gonna
picking
stand behind him.
The McDonald's trash out of that woman's car. He's doing it, and he's doing it right. Like he's trying to make a better. I shouldn't say that because I think some of what he's doing is pushing the limits of like Neuralink. It's pushing us beyond where we naturally would be.
Right.
But the other part of me is like, there's a good intent behind it because obviously it's going to be used to treat medical
disabled
and
individuals. Kind of that side of it I'm all about.
I don't know what he's doing behind the scenes privately. Like I don't know what he donates to and all that kind of stuff. But he has talked about just how easy it would be, I think, for the world to solve world hunger. He's talked about stuff like that, like how easy it would be and the amount of money we spend in other things that we shouldn't be doing, and that we could just use that money to solve that problem about hungry people.
Or like when he talks about the solar power, like I don't want to name a number, but he said this certain, seemingly small in the grand scheme plot of land in like northern Utah where it's just desert, I don't know, call it 60,000 acre or something, a big patch of land. But if you were to make that just all solar panels, you'd power like the whole United States.
Yeah. Because it's like 300 days of sunshine there.
Yeah. And
you could harvest so much energy if you just, all right, we're not going to drill there, but if we just put solar panels there, great. We can power, this many major cities in the country. Like
And so I feel like his intent is usually in that vein. Like where he sees the world differently and he sees how he can improve it. There's other people like him that aren't as big of a name. Like I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but a guy who, like even in high school, I think developed this idea to build this giant kind of almost like a net thing that just runs to the ocean, especially the Pacific, what do they call it? Pacific garbage patch or whatever.
Yeah, like
where
the island of plastic.
It kind of all spins together based on the currents. His company, he that guy reminds me of Elon too. Like, you get these individuals, they have the best intent, right? They're trying to do something that will truly make a difference on humanity. And that, I think, is the definition of what is the folks that could be defined as like an Elon or an Albert Einstein. Like, that's what they have, a capability to do something that just everyone else doesn't have.
Right? Yeah. Well, and I think everything, I guess, like, the reason I bring up, I don't know what he does behind the scenes privately, like as far as donating to things and all that kind of stuff, but everything that he does, just based on the way he's wired, has to do with technology improvements and things like that. Like, just because of his background and the way his brain works, like all his ideas, some way or another, are connected to something that improves technology in some way, and that either it's benefiting, I guess people in general, like as far as energy or internet or things like that, or it has to do with just general like exploration, things like that too. So, yeah, I mean, I think just him being the science guy that he is, I think that's more or less the stuff that you see in public and on the news is always going to be that technology driven change that could benefit society, rather than maybe whatever he does behind the scenes privately and that kind of thing, that are other issues that we see, social issues that we see. But I'm sure he's doing a lot with that too, I would imagine. But
he has certain channels for that side where he's he posts things unfiltered about opinions he has on what goes on in the world socially. But I agree with you that he is most interested in kind of that engineer mindset of advancing humankind, in any format, whether that's just making things more convenient or whether that's actually getting people onto another planet. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which I just remembered what I was going to bring up. This is a good segue.
Oh, good. Go on.
Speaking about the idea of getting a human to another planet, right? We've gotten humans to the moon, maybe Mars in our lifetime, and how that seems like such a giant step. But one thing that we haven't talked about it because it just released in the span of time that we've recorded since, and it was the actual fully oriented image from James Webb Space Telescope. Did you see that?
Yeah.
No.
So when we were talking with the Speciation bros, Mitch and Ward, we at that time had seen a James Webb Space Telescope image that it was out in its final form. The sun shields had deployed. It was ready to go, but they're in this still preliminary testing phase. And so they took a photo without the mirrors being honed on that area. And what you ultimately got is you got a perfect image of what they were focusing on, which was a star. But then everything around was just black, and it was just mirrored images of that star in the pattern of the mirrors, right? So they were just focusing on one thing. They knew that was just the point of just, does the telescope actually work? Does it send data back? Like troubleshooting, right?
After 20 years of development.
Yeah, they got to see how it works in the field. But then now they've honed the mirrors. Yeah. And that picture, it's still the focus is on the star, but every single dot in the sky around that is a galaxy.
Yeah.
It is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And so that's to my point, like to seemingly make this jump from Earth to Mars even feels like, I mean, it would be the most phenomenal thing that humans would have ever achieved, in the same vein as the moon landing.
Yeah.
And then now you're looking at like just the span, the absolute magnitude of the galaxy or of the universe is wild.
Of the cosmos.
Cosmos, yeah.
You're getting a little, and that's just a tiny snapshot of that too.
Yeah.
Think of
exactly.
It's just the same thing when they took the Hubble and they just took a snapshot of one portion of deep space.
Yeah.
Think of all the galaxies and everything like that were in that one photo. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
Listen to this headline. Sorry. Regarding James Webb.
Yeah.
The observatory's MIRI instrument, I don't know what that stands for.
Not sure. Something
instrument,
mirror.
Yeah. Instrument needs to cool down to to absolute zero, the temperature where the motion of atoms stops before it can start observing the universe.
Crazy.
Like, how's it not that cold yet?
Well, you would think it'd be pretty quick.
I think it. So it is now, but
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like
you'd think it'd be instantaneous.
You need to cool down to that point in order to observe atoms at that level.
Well,
like, it's just
it's
nuts that we have that technology.
Mhm.
Well, it's probably that thing has to. With any telescope you bring outside, you have to let it sit outside if it's a cooler temp, just so the mirror and everything can. I guess adapt to it doesn't fog and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably what it is. But you would think it'd be instantaneous. Think how cold. How cold is space? Let's Google that right now.
Well, if it's
if you're in deep space, how cold? It's got to be negative 400 degrees, right?
I think it's 0 Kelvin or whatever that scale is, which is to the point. It's the coldest you can get. Because there is no. Yeah.
You're on the dark side of the moon. It's minus 600 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
According to Google, deep space is about minus 455 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow.
Minus 455 Fahrenheit.
That's a little bit chilly.
It is.
I wonder, you again talk about we're limited to the engineering we know on Earth. Like, how do you design a telescope that, I guess, I don't know. I guess I would worry about how brittle it would become once it's out there because it's that cold. We know what it would perform or how it would perform on Earth, but at minus 455 Fahrenheit,
we got to get a thermodynamics guru on this podcast because it's a really interesting question. But I'm guessing there's some sort of physics thing with thermodynamics where certain materials, regardless of how cold they get, they still maintain I think that's got to be the case. But
if I'm an idiot on this, but a massive iron I-beam that you would see in a building.
Mm-hmm.
If at minus 455 Fahrenheit I could walk up to it and flick it and it broke, that's kind of problematic for design.
Yeah, because you look at liquid nitrogen, right? When they dip an apple in liquid nitrogen, and then they flick it, and it just
shatters.
Shatters, yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it has to do. It's all based on the material that they use for the whole, telescope in general. I think a lot of that is just it's probably insulated material and it's special, super deep space special materials that you would only that basically were made from the Apollo era, that they're probably still using, that are the reason that the arms can open and the panels can open when that thing gets up there because it's so cold.
Yeah,
I would think it's probably a lot to do with just what you're using for that, for the actual satellite or whatever it happens to be that goes up there. You can't just send a wooden telescope up there and hope for the best, but you can't just send a Dobsonian up there.
Yeah, they're high spec.
Yeah.
Sounds like a challenge to me.
Oh well, and honestly, we have somebody sitting right here that has sent something into space.
Yes, it was very cold when it came back.
Yeah,
but that was very near Earth space.
The Space Jam.
The Space Jam, yeah. But when we retrieved that, call it a package, what we sent up in the weather balloon. Even when we retrieved it, which was a fair bit of time, we had a GPS tracker so we could see the general area in which it landed, but it landed in the middle of a soybean farm, deep into the. It's okay, so we know it's in this, but how are we going to find this? It took a while, and even after a couple hours of searching, it was still cold.
Yeah,
the GoPro was fogged up at the end and cold. It's it's wild.
And with that, you would think that with as low as that was technically it wasn't even really in orbit. It was still
right. It was near Earth. Yeah,
near Earth. It would still have some heat from just the reflection of the sun on the Earth.
Big time.
And the launch. Yeah. That's friction.
Well, this is the weather balloon we're talking.
Yeah.
Right. But to your point, it's probably nowhere near -4. It's probably negative 100. I don't know what it is.
Only negative 300.
Yeah, exactly. You could go out in shorts, but it is interesting. You get into deep space, you no longer have any air resistance. It's just wild to think that this telescope has inserted itself into this deep space orbit in our solar system, and it's now gathering images that are not only going to be mind-blowing just from the sake of looking at it, like we're describing the very first one, all these dots in the background are all galaxies, like, wow, that's mind-blowing. But then how do you utilize that data they're going to be able to do that? This was just like the first, like, we just got a new iPhone and we're going to take the first photo on it before we know what it's really capable. That's what that was, and it's insane.
Right.
If you sent an iPhone up there, it'd be a little
Quick
bit
question.
frozen.
Cool.
Don't look at my phone.
Okay.
I hold the answer. What, if you had to guess, what in Fahrenheit is the temperature on the dark side of the moon? Since we're talking deep space temps, what your GoPro might have gotten to, what's the temp, do you think, on the dark side of the moon?
I thought it was in the
Fahrenheit.
The difference between sunlight and shadow was about 600 Fahrenheit, right? On the moon? Or maybe not. Maybe, I thought it was...
I think that's a reasonable guess. I don't know the answer, but I would say that the dark side is like negative 120.
What's your guess, David?
I thought it was like 600 degrees or something. Maybe I'm way off on that one, but I thought it was like minus 600.
Let's hear it.
Minus 387.
387. Okay, so it's pretty close to the temp of just
that was
deep
kinda,
space.
Yeah, kind of
pretty damn cold.
I don't know why it would be. Why would I say it would be colder than deep space? I don't know. I thought for some reason I thought.
But what you're saying, the difference like between the hottest and the coldest, that might be 600. Yeah.
600.
Oh yeah.
Here
you go. Here you go. The average temperature on the moon at the equator, in mild altitudes varies 298 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 138 degrees Celsius at night, to 224 degrees Fahrenheit, 106 degrees Celsius during the day.
Wow.
That's
insane.
the crazy thing. Like you literally could put like a bathing suit on and go stand out there.
Yeah, you could boil.
Yeah, you could boil. You could just drop a droplet of water and it would just like instantaneously.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have any gravity either. It wouldn't. It's not like it falls down and then boils on the ground.
No,
it would just like
float there and then vaporize.
The second you pulled it out of the droplet, it would just.
Yeah,
just imagine.
Hey, I have another question.
Yes.
We haven't heard anything about Captain Planet, have we, David?
I was going to bring this up. I was going to say my guess for Captain Planet is, based on the clues you've been laying down, which I don't think you were.
I was not at all. And I think I dropped the ball on that one again, but I hate to... I'm sorry, Jay Saw, because you gave me shit for that last time I saw you.
Oh, yeah, when we did... Yeah,
but we'll have to say that for episode 54.
Episode 54.
We should have...
Yeah.
Should we just do rock, paper, scissors again between Matt and I, and one of us comes up with the Captain Planet? Because, D-Will, you won rock, paper, scissors.
Well...
And now you dropped it twice.
I feel like I'm just... The anticipation. It's the build-up. I'm just trying to keep you guys anxious. Next time I will have one.
Oh, yeah?
It'll be,
okay.
So we'll do. Yeah. Let's do that. So you get your one more chance, and then it's 3 strikes. You're out.
I'm off the podcast.
No, then it would be one of the two of us has to start it.
Yeah. Rock, paper, scissors is the only way.
Episode 54 will be the reveal of the first Captain Planet.
Yeah.
Just like 52 and 51.
Well,
or 53.
There was a lot of hype going into 52, and I forgot. That was, you can't blame me there.
I don't blame you at all.
I can't blame you.
Well, that one, there was like...
You had a job. You had one job.
We're trying to... Yeah. I could see it, but then the second time...
You just let us down again, David, and we really don't know what to do with you right now.
Captain Planet.
What would you say it is that you actually do around here?
Captain Planet will be... Episode 54.
So have we actually agreed whether it's going to be just something in space in our solar system, or is
it's got to be a planet?
A planet, yeah. I think to start, we do
a planet.
Until we run out. A planet. And then once we run out of the planets, and we're going to include Pluto. Let's bring it back in.
Yeah.
It should have been there the whole time.
Yeah, it's a planet. Let's be real.
It's a conspiracy against Pluto.
Yeah.
It's smaller than our moon, though. That's the crazy thing.
It is small, but it has, you see other like deep space objects and they're like like an asteroid is all like jagged and stuff. It's still like a
spherical.
It's got its own mass. Like, I think it's a planet.
Yeah.
Anyway,
How the fuck did somebody find that?
telescopes.
Like,
bro.
it's smaller than our moon, and they found it out way out, and
Yeah.
they were able to track that it was
The sun.
orbiting.
Because of our sun, because they could see the flash and the reflection, and from there they can determine whether it's rotating and actually orbiting our solar.
That's just
sun
nutty to
and
me.
all-
Yeah,
it's
when you
crazy.
think about like early astronomy, it's pretty mind blowing.
Yeah.
That they're not only crafting the ability to see that far with a telescope or with math really, and trajectories and looking at all sorts of orbital dynamics at that era. You're talking the early ages of modern intelligence.
And before we had anything that could go that far out and see it, or anything like that, they can figure out how big it is roughly and how far away it is based on the light it's reflecting.
Exactly.
And how quickly it reflects it.
Yep.
And that's crazy to me. And a lot of the stars that we see, then we're seeing light that is like thousands of light years old that we're seeing from stars that are potentially not even there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they figure out, how far away things are and how big they are, and whether it's 3 times the size of our sun or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's crazy to me.
It's
like
wild.
And they used to do that before we had all this crazy technology that we have now.
Mm-hmm.
What were you going to say, Nathan? Go
Well,
ahead.
I just been doing more research on my phone
More
here.
Google facts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the temperature in low orbit can vary from 60 degrees Celsius,
Okay, so pretty warm.
really warm.
Yep.
What, like 32 is like
30. Well,
close
so
to 100, isn't it?
21 degrees Celsius is room temp. Like 72. Yeah.
So 60 is, call it 200
yeah,
degrees.
100 degrees Celsius is boiling. So pretty hot.
Yeah. To minus, oh, sorry, I lost my page.
I'm gonna say like minus 50 degrees Celsius.
150.
150. Wow. Yeah, so it
like,
varies a lot. Yeah.
It like the dude, what's his, Baumgart or whatever, that did the low.
Oh yeah. The drop from an air weather balloon.
Like he could have been in any temp from 60 to minus 150.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if that depends too on where I'm sure it does. Where
Totally
the sun's
depends
at.
on the time of day. Like
time of day.
If the Earth is rotating away, I'm sure you're closer to like, 20 degrees Celsius.
Yep.
Not 60 when you're like directly facing it. But still, I don't know. That's just crazy to me that you can have that big a fluctuation just based on being in the shadow of Earth.
Well, and it just puts into perspective too. We were talking about looking at a single image and seeing so many galaxies. You look at the image from afar and you're like, oh yeah, those are just stars. Literally every one of those is a galaxy. And within our galaxy, there's how many hundreds of thousands of solar systems, in just ours. So, but it's just
Millions.
the idea of like the deep space being so treacherous, and then our little pocket of like you get through this little bubble of atmosphere, and then
it's never.
You're safe. You're safe. You're good.
Yeah.
Come on in.
The thing that is even more crazy to me that I really can't wrap my head around is just the fact that it's just a vacuum.
Yeah.
It literally is like if you were to take your helmet off and try to breathe, nothing.
Yeah.
Just nothing.
There's no. Yeah.
It's crazy.
No air.
Like
no
you
oxygen.
just, I can't even really like fathom what that must be like if you were out there without anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy. Just nothing.
You'd last. I don't even know if you would last to unconsciousness. Like you might just.
I think you would
vaporize.
freeze. I think you'd freeze
and vaporize.
I think you'd
once.
freeze first. Yeah. At least that's how the movies portray it. Like in what's that one movie with
The Martian?
Sandra Bullock? That it's kind of terrible.
Oh,
where,
George Clooney.
I can't. Yeah, maybe that one. I feel like there's movies out there that where they like their helmet comes off and they just like freeze. They freeze at first and then like that's how they probably do. That happens before they stop breathing. But either way, it's just that treacherous nature of deep space or space in general, and then coming back into like our little bubble. It's wild.
Yeah,
it's Goldilocks.
Yeah,
it is
this nice little
the Goldilocks
comfy
planet.
pocket here.
Yeah.
I mean, we bitch about being 35 degrees and raining out, but honestly, you could be on Pluto.
Yeah,
you could be on a gaseous planet with nothing to stand on. Yeah, it's wild.
Exactly.
But anyway, I think we're dry on our 4 ecliptic beers.
I am dry.
We dented them.
We did. Yeah. So cheers again to Ecliptic, the Marzen Lager, Vienna Style Lager, Batch 5000, Barley Wine Ale, and then the Vega 13. Fantastic, all of them. Just unbelievably good.
Yeah.
You have to go if you're in Portland and you haven't. I feel like if you live in Portland,
Or
you've been there.
Colorado. We brought it back.
Yeah, exactly. Where they're distributing now. Go check them out for sure. But all that said, we will catch you on the next episode. Follow us on social if you'd like, at Eclipse on Tap for Instagram and Twitter, and the Facebook page as well. And then eclipseontap.space for the website. And if you like what you're hearing, give us a review or a shout out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
We'll see you next month for episode 54.
54 and Planet of the Month.
Captain Planet will be present this time.
It's like we're doing one of those like reality shows where we cut to a commercial right before I'm about to say something revealing.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what we're just teasing.
We're cliffhanging for episode 54.
It's being advertised for 54. It might be here 59-ish.
Yeah, we'll see. But either way, it'll be here eventually. And yeah, we'll see you then. Cheers.
Cheers.